Hello everybody, happy Saturday, and time for another stream. So today we'll be playing Donkey Kong for Game Boy and Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the Game Boy Advance. Hello there. I will be playing my games using, where's my button? There it is. Yeah, I'll be playing using the Analog Pocket, which lets me run original cartridges in real time. So I've got Game Boy in the system already, and then we'll be playing Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It'll be interesting to see what a difference 10 years in technology made at the time this game came out from today. It's kind of funny. It's 10 years difference between Donkey Kong 94 and Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but it's 20 years between the Game Boy Advance version of Mario vs. Donkey Kong and the Nintendo Switch remake. Now, I've heard a few details about this remake that have me a little concerned, a little let down. I'm glad. I definitely plan to have both of these games feature on stream. But for now, why don't we get started with Donkey Kong. Now, we're just going to play 4 stages of Game Boy Donkey Kong. And once we've played those 4 stages, we will be reading some magazines about, some period magazine coverage about Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I don't actually remember reading any of this coverage at the time the game came out. I definitely wasn't subscribed to Nintendo Power. Let's see. Alright. So if we start... There we go. So we'll play... I'll show you this. Now, I did not do any testing. I mean, as far as I could tell, everything should be working fine. But if anything's wrong, my microphone sounds weird. If I sound like I have a robot voice filter, it should not sound like that. And just in case, if anyone's unfamiliar with this stream, there's a chance that I may get a call. I'll wait till the chat message goes off screen. But there's a chance that we may be getting a call from someone calling themselves the advanced controller of the Great Currency, which is the channel point system I have, and they call me on this weird phone that they sent me, and usually whenever they call, weird stuff happens. There's a chance he may be calling sometime today, so but we'll be playing, I just want to beat this desert world. This is broken up into 3 sections. We've beaten the first 2, so we just have 3 more puzzle platforming stages, and then the fight with Donkey Kong. And then we'll move on to the magazine portion. Alright. Yeah, I got to this level and I'm like, alright, this is whatever's going on here is too complicated for my brain right now. Now, for those who are not familiar with this particular title, it is kind of a puzzle platformer reimagining of the... Yeah, it's a puzzle platform continuation of Donkey Kong, the arcade game from 1982. So, Azurest, you redeemed the Sodor lore reading. Thank you. We'll be reading a little, that's the wrong thing. Now it's going to take several seconds to switch over to the proper layout. Please go to the proper layout. Yeah, I don't know why it's so slow. I switched the magazine layout instead of the Sodor lore reading layout. There we go, that's more like it. So we're going to learn a little bit about Tidmouth. And by the way, everything I'm going to read you is actually from actual legitimate Thomas the Tank Engine lore. It is no longer part of the television series, the pre-kindergarten drivel they put on these days. And I did enjoy Thomas since before I was in kindergarten, but I wouldn't have liked that even as a small child. Anyway, Port, Town, and Railway Station. There is a mistake into the map noted here. The main line continues from Knapford as far as Tidmouth and should be marked as such. Tidmouth's rise and development is mainly due to the enterprise of A.W. Dry & Company, already mentioned under Knapford. The harbor, which is deep and well sheltered, has been known for centuries as a safe place which to ride out storms, but access from land was, until the 1880s, only possible on foot or by pack pony. The valley of the Tid, northeast behind the town, is peculiar in that it is narrow and enclosed by precipitous cliffs, and being throughout on a higher level, the river falls sharply before reaching the sea. Even now, there are only footpaths along the valley. Till went on into the 19th century. It was a rough place. Haunt of smugglers who alternated as fishermen, and who had developed their special kippering process, the secret of which is still jealously preserved today. Yeah, I think for a normal Sword Lore reading, that'll, I think, about cover us. Though I do notice we are rapidly advancing towards our 1,000,000th XLO token, which is very exciting. Though if I didn't lose some of the tokens I had before, I think I would have been well over 1,000,000 by now. Oh! That's interesting. So it crosses down. So yeah, so those boulders are stopped by... It's interesting seeing... Yeah, like, you know, it's funny because this is the first time I'm reading this myself, for the most part. And they mention that they had a special kippering process, a special way of, I guess, using salt and salted potting methods to preserve fish. And Henry pulls a train called the Flying Kipper that transports fish. So I'm guessing that's the origin of how the fish potting industry got to the point where they had those fish trains. So that just makes it go up or down. Now, so it's this, and let's see how far I can. No, I can't. I can't solve the stage in that position. Yeah, I can't solve the stage with things in that position. Because on the left, I see the bridge is extended. I need to make sure that bridge... Oh. Oh, okay. So if I pull this lever, then... That... Okay. Alright, use this as an elevator to get over here. I need to get those... So that will always go down. Yeah, Ken and Pickled Fish are having their moment now. So that... I have... Let's pick that key up. Okay. I just have to get back over there. What does it take to get back over there now? This will require some... So if I jump down there, I can't get back up here. Oh, okay. Alright. I'm getting a sense of... Oh, come on, I just solved the stage. I just solved the stage. Oh, come on. We got it with like exactly 10 seconds left. That was smooth. That was smooth. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. Okay. And wow, I solved it on my first attempt. I didn't lose a single life. You know, last time I was playing, I was like, you know what? I felt getting a little late stream burnout. These are very... Yeah, it is a puzzle platforming game, but it's not like Super Mario Brothers where your main goal is, I guess, avoiding enemies and obstacles. It is really about solving the scenario they place you in to get the key to the door. And thank you, Azros, for that. Well played there. And if it was a Super Mario Brothers game, I could have just kept playing through for a little longer. But I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to stop. We'll move on to... Wow, I am mining at a very rapid rate. I think we're definitely going to hit 1 million XLO tokens today. Or at least that... You see, what you see on screen, those are my XLO tokens that I'm mining. Those have nothing to do with yours. All the XLO tokens you're mining by watching me that are being deposited in your channel point totals... those are safe, though the advanced controller has taken away all of my XLO tokens several times, but yours all should be safe. Hey, 2 up, not bad considering I think that's the first time I ever played the roulette game and was really paying no attention to. So only 2 more puzzle stages, and then we'll be up to Donkey Kong. Oh. Ooh. Let's see. They give us... Okay, so I can walk all the way up here with this key. Very, very simple stage this is. Okay. I just gotta get a key up there using all of these springs and platforms. So I gotta grab the key. Oh. No, not. Oh gosh. Okay, I did not. Hey there, Kalaka Boy. Happy Lunar New Year to you too. Didn't you say you're going to some sort of really cool festival earlier? Or last year you said you're going to some kind of festival today. I hope you had a great time. Or maybe you're still there now. I have no idea. Of course you don't... In this day and age, wouldn't be expected to share your real-time location with a live audience. You know, there's certain safety concerns with that, of course. Huh. Huh. Okay, you're still there, huh? Huh. Oh my goodness, this is... Oh, now they're doing Aztec dancing. Oh, so this is a real sort of, seems like this festival has pretty global reach in terms of the scope of all of the things they're covering. Because I know a lot of certain Central American cultures, several, you know, had certain traditions in regards to their calendars and cycles of calendars that were kind of exploited for weird dramatic effects around 2012 when they were trying to say that there was going to be an apocalypse. I remember there being a lot of like doomsday prepping shows on mainstream television around that time. No! Okay. We came pretty close, actually, to solving that there. That was interesting. Alright. Yeah, I think this. Oh, the spring is actually a pain in the butt. The spring is getting in the way. But let's see. Because pressing the D-pad once is just one click, I'm gonna have to get a sense of. Okay, so how many clicks up can I throw the key from a given spot? So let's say from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try 6. Let's see if that's too high. 6, it's too high. It's probably gonna have to be 5. Let's see how well 5 works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see if we can get it up with 5. Alright, so now we know from a given surface we can throw the key up to 5 units up. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah! That was such a cool stage. That was such a cool stage. I mean, all these stages are cool, but these last couple of stages have been distinctly satisfying to solve. All right, only one more puzzle platform stage. We're gonna beat the stage, the world boss. We're gonna beat Donkey Kong as the world boss and move on to Mario vs. Donkey Kong once we read up a little on the history of. Alright. Oh, wow. Huh. That's interesting. It started just mid-air. You have about 200 seconds? So, what do these blocks mean to us? I'm guessing the scorpions are bad. Ah, they can block. Oh. Oh, great. Okay. Huh. So what does that mean? Okay. Why would I have a lever? This lever is effectively, like, pointless. What does it mean? Oh, there's another lever up higher, I see. That I need to use. Okay, I could backflip up to that. Nope. No, not happening. Close, but yeah, I bungled that one. There we go. Oh, I absolutely need to use 2 of these. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. Let's see if I can. Yeah. Huh. So what do... I'm trying to think. There's no... Do I have to do something using the scorpions? Alright, I think this got me up there before. Might as well... There's no real risk in getting... I might as well get the other two, considering there's no risk in doing so. I could... What is the purpose? I'm trying to figure out. I fundamentally don't understand this stage right here. If there was a bomb, or... I was gonna take a death. Finally, I took a death today. We're almost up to 1 million. 909. Oh yeah, we're almost up to 1 million. I'm almost up to. I don't know how many all of y'all have. I'm probably mining these in a... Wow, we got to 1 million. How about that? And now I don't know. There's nothing I could do with them. I don't know what purpose they're supposed to serve. I don't know in what way these are meant to be... Oh! Wait a second. Can I? Wait. You could... Oh! This game. I love this game. You could put the block there to prevent the key. Alright. That is great. That is cool. I could stop the door from closing by putting the block there. Okay, game. Okay, game. I swear, I know, I have not played this game, and I literally have not played this game since I finished playing this in about... This game came out in spring 2024, because the semester definitely wasn't over yet, but because I played it during breaks in class, but... Yeah, I definitely... And it was like November, I beat the main game. I played some of the other quests, but I never finished it. I mean, I never 100%ed this, but I have not played this game since... I played it a few times lately just to check out, you know, just to bounce the audio for it. But I have not played this game since 2004. So maybe there are a lot of things like that in this game that I just forgot about. But from what I can remember, this game, and I'm only about halfway through the main quest, doesn't do many of the more ambitious, impressive, and cool things with the puzzle building and problem solving that the... Oh, gosh. Hold on. Okay, I just want to warn everyone. This might get kind of weird. I don't know what he's going to want. But actually, let's go to full screen for this. Actually, no. Hello.
Hey there, my loving son and short-snouted mammal boy.
Hi.
It is me, your severely adored parent and authority figure, the advanced control here of the great currency. Me.
I couldn't have guessed.
I see you you are now in the market of having mined 1 million XLO tokens, the inflation-free non-legal tender digital currency of the future.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What?
I was going to make an incredible bespoke online storefront for you to spend your XLO tokens on exciting merchandise catered to your interests.
Oh.
That took too long.
Oh.
It was too hard. And then something happened.
What happened?
You see, I was praying for the families of my victims one dark and stormy night.
Your victims?
Yes, victims.
Of what?
Now hush your stupid tailless puppy butt and listen up.
Sure.
I was praying for the families of my victims, and then God spoke to me. Yes, God spoke to me.
Really? About what?
God said that he was big mad at the advanced controller of the great currency, which is me, and that he was going to send me to my heaven big time absolutely right now forever unless Super Train Station H gave me 1 million XLO tokens, the inflation-free non-legal tender digital currency of the future.
What?
TLD are... God said that he's going to kill me unless you give me 1 million XLO tokens.
Why does God want an unregistered currency that's not even from the government?
Oh, you aren't listening to me, you freaking moron. God doesn't want 1 million XLO tokens, the inflation-free non-legal tender digital currency of the future. God wants you to give 1 million XLO tokens, the non-legal tender digital currency of the future, to me. You hear that? To me. Or he will surely hire an armed band of former Navy commandos to play me my violin big time for sure.
That's too bad. Bye.
Don't question God, just do what I said, please. Hurry up and give me 1 million XLO tokens at no delay, or God will assassinate me for sure.
Yeah, bye.
Wait, big boy, don't hang up the phone.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be a little more creative than that if he wants me to give him money, so, yeah. Isn't there some, like, televangelist who tried something like this in the 1980s? So this time the barrels are ambulatory. Oh my gosh, I just realized these are basically... Oh my goodness. Goodness gravy. I just realized these are basically those little, those little Moai statue walking guys from... Alright, we got him. Alright, let's see what the next world's gonna be. I think we're about, like... I think this marks about the halfway point of the main campaign. What's he jumping down into? I can't see where they're going. Oh, they're going into the background? I'm guessing the next set of worlds is gonna have background and foreground stuff, which will be interesting. Save, yes. Wow, an airplane! I'm sorry. It's only 8... We're not gonna beat this stage. This is a great... We've gotta see what this stage is like. Oh, the wind is blowing Mario over. Oh, is there mounted guns up there? Alright, we are, let's leave that alone for a while. Let's, get into our magazine reading. Let's check out Nintendo Power. Now, I was definitely not subscribed to Nintendo Power. I was subscribed to EGM at this point, but not Nintendo Power. I don't remember EGM's coverage. We will look at that, but let's look through the Nintendo Power that has apparently the review of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, which I've got right here. This is my actual cartridge from back in the day. own the coolest Pokemon movie yet. Is this? I think. No, we did. This is not. We did not see this movie on stream. We saw the Manaphy movie on stream. We watched it via Amazon Prime Watch Party. So we have. Oh, is this a oh wow, Duel Masters. Yeah, I think Duel Masters was basically started to try to help popularize Magic the Gathering in Japan and sort of became its own thing. And, oh, let's look at the magazines here. I heard from various sites on the internet you plan to release a sequel to Paper Mario. Of course, if it's April Fool's Day, so please tell me if it's a cruel joke. It's no April Fool's joke. Mario & Company are returning to the highly stylized world of Paper Mario in a GameCube sequel. The game was officially announced in Volume 180's E3 sneak peek. Check out more exciting news on Paper Mario 2 in this month's E3 preview article on the go. Oh, and yeah, and thanks for the happy Mardi Gras as well. But tips from the experts. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, you have to trade certain Pokemon over the GBA game link cable to make them evolve. I was wondering if these Pokemon were transferred over to Pokemon Coliseum, would they evolve? Also, can you transfer Pokemon with items over the cable too? Here they're talking about some references to Gulliver's Travels that are in Earthbound. Now, Nintendo's history. My mom and I were cleaning out my uncle's garage when we stumbled upon a box that said Nintendo cards. We opened them and found cards that had designs on them, usually outdoor plants. When we asked my uncle, he said he got them from a pawn shop. Does Nintendo of Japan make these cards, or is it the one in North America? Believe it or not, Nintendo started making playing cards long before video games, so playing cards had everything from plants to Disney characters printed on them. They're developed and distributed by Nintendo Co. Ltd. in Japan, the company that was originally called Nintendo Card Company Limited. You may have discovered a bit of Nintendo history in your uncle's garage. Now, how about this? I have these cards. I have actually a set of these cards, which are known as Hanafuda. It's a specific set. I believe there are several different games that can be played with these, but there's one main traditional one that's played. These are based on, I think, either seasons or on months of the calendar. Yeah, all these cards have different values and they're different suits of similar-looking cards. And if you remember, actually, I'm about to make a Watership Down reference, and that's going to be a bit obtuse. Oh my goodness! I dropped a few of them. But no, I just wanted to point out, I feel like the white backdrops on these cards kind of remind me of the introduction to the 1970s Watership Down animated film by, I believe, David Rosen was the producer on that. But I have to bend down now and pick up the cards that fell. Yeah, they're like little tile-like cards. Oh, and look, here we've got, I guess this is kind of the equivalent of the Ace of Spades, where the Ace of Spades will often have the company who produced the card's logo on it, and this as, I believe this does say, I can't read Japanese, but I'm familiar with these particular characters, and I believe this says Nintendo in Japanese. Now, let me just put the rest of these cards away. And on the front of the box is Napoleon Bonaparte. Alright, so let's continue on. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright. This better not be... Let's skip to this just... Actually... I just want it to be quiet, because I'm going to need my full attention to talk to this moron. I didn't mean to say it out loud. No one's...
Please Super Train Station H, my fortified and enriched prey item filled with real organic goodness, and I arrived for my own true and legitimate mammal hole.
What?
Please please do as God said in the latest New Testament DLC expansion pack and give me 1 million XLO tokens, the inflation-free, non-legal tender digital currency of the future, or else...
What?
God will hire Black Cobra PMC to get me the hot bullets of shotgun to die.
Bye.
Oh, Ilfmere.
Bye.
Oh, 4.
Yeah, I'm glad he actually knows the specific private military company that God's going to use to assassinate him. But, that's a problem he's going to have to deal with on his own. So here, this is interesting. There's a lot of interesting questions here. I have a question regarding my favorite video game franchise ever, The Legend of Zelda. I know it was one of the most influential video game franchises ever, and also represents the pinnacle of gaming. Was The Legend of Zelda for NES the first to feature a save file? Your hunch is right. The Legend of Zelda, released in 1987, was the first NES game to have a battery-powered save feature. Coincidentally, the next game to support the revolutionary feature appeared the following year. The Legend of Zelda Adventure of 87? You know, it just occurred to me. I never really thought about the fact that in North America, Zelda and Zelda 2 released in consecutive years. Because both Super Mario Bros. 2, Western version, and Zelda 2 released in 88 in America. That's very interesting. I never really thought of it that way. I never thought of that before, that Zelda and Zelda 2 released consecutive years in North America. Imagine if, like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out one year consecutive. Oh yeah, and Clockaboy saying, don't forget Valentine's Day on Wednesdays when kids pass out cards in class, though I've heard of some schools, like, cracking down on it, considering it a form of sexual harassment. So, I don't know. Try to please everyone, and you get everyone upset. But anyway, another question, Zelda question. I'm a huge Zelda fan, so I spend a lot of time thinking of my favorite game. Whenever I finish the game, credits known up, I notice there are a lot of names. Do only a few people in the team think of the ideas for the Zelda games, like what Link will look like, what the game's layout, etc., and other people put the ideas in motion, or all the people on the team contribute ideas and thoughts to the game? Also, the music in the Wind Waker is amazing. They need lots of instruments and people to produce all the music in the game. That's very interesting, and they gave a very detailed answer to that. But again, we went straight to the Bill's mouth. Bill Trinan and Nate Dildorf. Now, Bill Trinan I met him briefly, but I completely ignored him because I was too busy shaking hands and taking pictures with Shigeru Miyamoto. So, sorry, Bill, I only had eyes for Miyamoto in that moment. Sorry I kind of ghosted you there. But, wow, that was 19 years ago already. Anyway, we went straight to the Bill Chen and Nate Bildorf, and only localization leads. So A Legend of Zelda game is very much a collaborative effort that involves the entire team. Obviously, people like Shigeru Miyamoto and Eiji Aonuma have the ultimate say, but ideas like changing the graphics style for Wind Waker came from within the team, and rather than being put forth by the higher-ups. Of course, there has to be some sort of structure to how the team works and how ideas are put in motion. So it's very interesting looking into the process. Yeah, lots of very detailed game development related questions this time. That's very interesting. Oh yeah, this is around the time they did the River City Ransom port for Game Boy Advance. Oh, and of course we've got I had this disc. I'm very sure I had this disc. Yeah, 2004 Magic the Gathering. I feel like it was such a simpler world. Like Magic the Gathering, and I guess trading card games in general, I kind of fell off because I don't feel like relearning a bunch of rules or learning new rules mechanics every year or two when they come out with a major new set with new revisions and mechanics and all that. When you play something like backgammon here or chess, you know, there are variants and house rules, but there's not going to be like, okay, it's time for the new 2024 chess pieces. We now have I don't know, we now have the squire piece and he moves in a K shape, or oh, we now have the I don't know, just like I'm trying to think of some other medievally sounding rules. We now have the peasant piece. I don't know. I'm just trying to make something up. But let's see. We got. Oh, look at this! I never heard of this. Noticed this Tron game. Buena Vista Games to take over the circuits of Game Boy Advance and Tron, based on the Disney movies from the '80s, is a third-person adventure in cyberspace. I'll have to check that out. A Tron game for Game Boy Advance, and something about Tron games, like something something about less primitive graphics seem to suit. Yeah, serfs. Yeah, serfs are they stay in one spot and they aren't allowed to move unless the king is directly next to them and gives them permission. Yeah, that's what serfs can do in chess. But Mega Man Anniversary Collection for GameCube. These game re-releases were very important at this time because remember, this is an age before digital re-releases, digital, virtual console type services. Dragon Ball Z Super Sonic Warriors, a fighting game for Game Boy Advance. Project Digipen. That's interesting. A new creature. So that's interesting. So they have a Digipen game, a game made by students at Digipen, which Nintendo was and probably still have some sort of very close relationship with. And there's a way where you can actually download this game for yourself. Something I can. So there's an interview with Duel Masters. There's that game for that Catwoman movie with Halle Berry. You have a Shining Force, Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. I don't know if this is I'm guessing this is going to be a re-release of an earlier Shining Force game. But a Perfect Gamer. Okay, this is a review of from some band at the time. Man, Mega Man Battle Network 4, Blue Moon and Red Sun. I forgot that they split Mega Man Battle Network 4 into two games akin to Pokemon Red and Blue. There's that on Switch. You could get all of these games, and then there's the Kids WB, the tie-in for the Mega Man Battle Network television series. Here's Four Swords Adventure. This is a game I never actually played. This is a game that this game actually went over very poorly at E3 2003 because E3 2003 was a year where there was the earliest serious emphasis from the PlayStation and Xbox systems of those days at the earliest console-based online gaming. I mean, even though they'd been forays into it in limited capacity since the early to mid 80s, believe it or not. But it was the early 2000s. The people the hardcore gamers were at the forefront of gaming on consoles. Wanted to take their systems online, get into online networked multiplayer, competitive and cooperative, and Xbox and PlayStation were providing that, and Nintendo really was not pursuing it. There was a modem, broadband and a dial-up modem released for the GameCube. They were not used in very, very extremely limited capacity. I think Phantasy Star Online and a Japanese-only sort of game called Gift Pia that I understand to be somewhat vaguely akin to Animal Crossing. And then there were projects like Warp Pipe which used a couple of those local area network games such as Mario Kart Double Dash. Used the network features that let you play 8 players using 2 GameCubes and 2 televisions in one room to play them online through the internet. And that was the going on, and people were like, GameCube wasn't selling that well, and people were like, hey, the reason GameCube isn't selling is because you're not doing online gaming. Now, it's easy to say at the time, because if you're on online gaming communities, you're at the forefront of the gaming scene, those are the people who are going to be most likely to be playing online games, and interested in taking their consoles online. But compared to even just in the succeeding generation with that, oh my gosh, this is. We're gonna be patient with him. Let's see what he has to say.
Super to Wayne Station Age. Oh, Hilfmir, I ask you for this final time. Give me 1 million XLO tokens, the non-legal tender digital currency of the future. Or God will hire Cher Aznable, Red Comet, and firstborn son of Zeon Zundai Kun to de-orbit the International Space Station onto my house.
That's the plot to Char's counterattack, the anime movie. Why don't you just ask me for the money, without the lies?
Oh, I didn't think of that.
I noticed.
Will you give me 1 million XLO tokens? The non-legal tender digital currency of the future. Plus gas fee and tribute.
If it keeps you out of my hair, sure.
Thanks, you freaking little dunce.
What?
You stupid little butter sucker.
What?
You foxy little squirrel swallower. You stupid.
Alright, fine. We'll give him 1 million XLO tokens. There's no shop that I can spend these on. There, I sent... Oh, hold on. How do I send it to him? Okay, I sent it to him. And we're... Alright. So we're back to square one. Hey there, Reliet. I think we got him out of our hair for this stream. And, I don't know what he wants... I don't know why he... You should have... I don't know. I don't know what he wants these for, but as long as he leaves... the thing is, I don't know how much... I don't know if 22 XLO tokens, I don't know if that converts to like $1 million US. I don't know if it converts to 1/100 of 1 cent. It doesn't matter to me because I have no place I can spend these anyway, whereas... whereas my viewers could actually spend these on, their tokens on redeems with me, but these things are practically useless to me, so I really don't mind giving them to him if he just asks instead of making up weird things about how God is going to kill him unless I give him this money. Hey there, Reliet. Yeah, you could keep up. Where's my button? You can keep up with what's been going on so far with this there. I'll have all the calls. This is the third call he's made to me today on the stupid phone he sent me. And now that I've actually given him the money, I don't expect he's going to bother me anymore today. But, yeah, so earlier today, Reliet, we were playing a little more Donkey Kong 94. And later, once we're reading the Nintendo Power that includes the review or coverage of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and then we're going to actually play Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is my copy from back in 2004. I haven't played it in 20 years, except for, turning it on, making sure the cartridge still worked and that it still took save files. And that it, balancing the volume, actually, for this as well. And really it's saying, am I getting involved in offshore money laundering and corporate fraud? I don't know if I am. As for this advanced controller, he's not giving me straight answers as to what this is even all about. He just had me put a creepy disk into my computer that installed this mining thing. So, so getting back to the game... What do we got? The magazine. So Four Swords Adventures was not really taken well at E3 2004. Four Swords Adventures in combination with Pac-Man Versus was actually, it's hard to believe now, was seen as a low point in Nintendo history. The sort of moment that proved Nintendo's out of touch. They can't survive in today's industry. They have a great, 20-year legacy of making great games and consoles, but it's time for them to step aside, maybe become a third party like Sega did. Because Four Swords Adventures, along with Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, those are the only two Nintendo GameCube games that used GBA to GameCube connectivity that required 4 Game Boy Advance systems and 4 GameCube Game Boy Advance link cables. Those two games alone gave Game Boy Advance to GameCube connectivity of being very expensive and very complicated, and was really the first time you heard this detraction of this criticism from detractors of Nintendo being a gimmick company that cared more about technological novelty than actually pushing the game industry and the art of gaming forward. Now, really, it's saying, that 2000. The 2005 era of Nintendo was one of those gens that there was really special in because their family's financial situations meant they didn't partake in that generation as much as they would have liked to, despite being in the target demographic of the time. Like, they never played Four Swords Adventures except at a friend's. I'll be honest, playing Four Swords Adventures at a friend's, you probably got a better experience than playing it by yourself at home, potentially. Yeah, Pokemon Coliseum, it's kind of funny how they use the branding for Pokemon Coliseum going on from Pokemon Stadium would imply that it was just a Pokemon Stadium game with emphasis on battling, but there was in fact a full-fledged role-playing game storyline and campaign. So, yeah, Link to the Four Swords Awakening, Four Swords Awakening, that actually sounds pretty cool. Does Four Swords Adventures have e-reader compatibility? I hope not, because Game Boy the e-reader was another one of those reasons that Nintendo had this reputation of being seen as a gimmick company, because with the Game Boy Advance and with the e-reader was a device that attached to your Game Boy Advance console, and you could scan special cards with dot codes in them to load games into the e-reader, into temporary RAM. So some NES games like Clue Land, Donkey Kong Jr., as well as games like Super Mario Brothers 3, the Super Mario Advance, was it Super Mario Advance 3 or 4, whichever Super Mario Advance game had SMB3 in it, you could load in new levels with the dot codes. And I always thought that these levels were levels that were in the cartridge that the cards unlocked. That is not the case. The dot codes inside the cards genuinely contained the programming for these levels and added them into the game. Triforce Heroes is not a Four Swords game. It doesn't use any of the lore involving Vati or the Four Sword. In Triforce Heroes, it is actually the case that it is Link it is supposed to be just Link and a couple of other heroes. It isn't one hero who's been magically divided into four simultaneously existing entities that are able to act independently to get through the quest. It is actually just three different people that are playing together. Is Minish Cap a Four Swords game? I think that smile should say more than enough. I know that Minish Cap. Okay, so Reliant, you've played the game. You know, yeah. When I started, they kept it pretty well under wraps that Minish Cap was an actual single player game about the Four Sword, and having that revealed within the game was a very exciting aspect of it. But yeah, this. Oh, so you watched a friend play, but the point is you're privy to it. Okay, you're privy to that fact. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I did not realize this. I did not realize that this issue was the Nintendo. I never read Nintendo's internal coverage of the reveal of the Nintendo DS. I wish I had yeah. So I guess there's further coverage next year or next month in these issues. That's very interesting. Really saying it felt like a way of promoting Four Swords Adventure. It's kind of funny because Four Swords Adventure was 2004. Minish Cap came out in 2005. So definitely came out after the release of Nintendo DS. Yeah, and the black bezel around it is actually much wider. I did a massive 3-hour history lesson presentation about the DS. I have it the reveal of DS. I have it recorded. Who chose this? White text on gray backdrop. What are you thinking, Nintendo? Dual screens? The one concept fueled worldwide speculation when Nintendo president dropped the bombshell in mid-2003. No, Nintendo. This is Nintendo of America. How could they mess up this bad? Dual screens. That one concept fueled worldwide speculation when Nintendo president Satoru Iwata dropped the bombshell in mid-2003. No. The Nintendo DS project. Now, in mid-2003, Iwata may have said made some cryptic comments about a mystery product that would not be a successor to DS or Game Boy Advance. I mean, a successor to GameCube or Game Boy Advance. Satoru Iwata did the Nintendo DS, the fact that there would be a dual screen handheld, was not announced until a out of nowhere press release on January 20th, 2004. So the idea that Nintendo's own Nintendo published magazine would accidentally say that the DS was revealed in mid-2003 is absolutely bizarre. But details were late breaking, so he stopped the press to give you exclusive scoop on the Nintendo DS personal entertainment and communication system that will revolutionize video games. You saw the dual screens coming, but we couldn't have imagined its possibilities or the DS's other major features. 3D graphics that exceed the Nintendo 64's, touchscreen gameplay, and wireless technology that will literally bring the whole world of gaming together. But more on that next month. For now, bask in the glory of just a few DS games that will make E3 history, and that is Metroid Prime Hunters. Use the stylus to control much of the action in Metroid Prime Hunters, a first-person battle game in which you'll touch the stylus to the screen to aim and fire, rotate the camera, and transform into a morph ball. Unbelievable. A worldwide wireless revolution. We're already wondering how we lived without it. Wireless gaming will bring inventive communication like PictoChat to life. Just imagine what it can mean for games such as Animal Crossing DS. Now, this was at a time when Animal Crossing was not Animal Crossing was not a major Nintendo franchise. It was kind of a side thing. It wasn't taken... But Mario 64 by 4, as they was called at the time, up to 4 players could explore the kingdom as Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and Wario. You'll see your character on one screen and the map in the other, in which you can touch to turn the camera on other players. So we have the preview of Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Paper Mario 2, before it got the 1,000-Year Door preview. Now, yeah, and note here, Paper Mario 2, this is arguably the last proper, legitimate RPG sequel to Paper Mario that series ever got. It is yet to happen. This year, in 2024, 20 years later, there's finally hope with Paper Mario, The 1,000-Year Door. This game has to sell. This is a game I will buy. Paper Mario, 1,000-Year Door, I am buying that day one. I want to support legitimate RPG Paper Mario again. So Pikmin 2, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which was Donkey Konga was a rhythm game that used these bongo drum controllers. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat was a platformer that used the same controllers. A very unique game. Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap, bringing the Wind Waker art style to the Game Boy Advance in convention capacity. But here we have... So we talked about wireless gameplay on the DS, but here we're talking about the wireless adapter for Game Boy Advance that worked with Pokemon, the Pokemon Red and Blue remakes. Mario Pinball, one of the absolute worst games I ever played. How could Nintendo publish such wretched dog poop? I cannot believe I live on the same timeline where this game not only was created, but got released. This is something that should have come out of the Giga Leak as some, like wretched abomination that Nintendo, greenlit, but then canceled the release of because it was so bad. But anyway, F-Zero GP Legend, arguably the last game in the F-Zero series to be released. Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories had absolutely incredible full-motion video cutscenes on a Game Boy Advance cartridge. Donkey Kong King of Swing, pretty much Donkey Kong King of Swing is what Clu Clu Land would have been like if it was an actual full-fledged platformer. And I believe Bubbles from Clu Clu Land was put in this game as a unlockable character. So grab some water there. So Custom Robo. This was a series that I believe began on Nintendo 64. This title here was the only game in the series to come out in North America. Around the time they were bringing... Oh, we have... Oh, yeah, so we talked about the e-reader earlier. Oh, yeah, that's, the advanced controller distracted me. Talking about getting back to the e-reader. Part of what made the e-reader so ridiculous is Game Boy Advance... in the Custom Robo series, I was not aware of that. That's very interesting. I have to, because when someone talks in chat about something very specific, I have to think back I didn't realize there was one for the DS at all, Rel, yet. I'll be honest with you. Now, when it comes to, when someone says something in chat, I have to think back 20 seconds as to what I was saying at the time sometimes to keep up. But you have the Team Magma and Team Aqua here for the Gen 3 era Pokemon trading card game. Because they introduced e-reader elements into the cards where you could scan them into an e-reader to get, little digital coin flippers, little gimmicks like that. Nothing essential to play the game. But when I was getting into the e-reader, talking about how there was Game Boy Advance e-reader, which is the card reader accessory for Game Boy Advance, exclusive levels, additional newly created stages for the Game Boy Advance re-release of Super Mario Bros. 3, but to load e-reader content into a Game Boy Advance game, you needed 2 Game Boy Advance systems, a link cable, and the e-reader, and use both Game Boy Advances at once. The fact that they wanted to use e-reader cards to load data into Game Boy Advance cartridges and not give the e-reader its own cartridge slot is absolutely absurd. So between 2 Game Boy the Game Boy Advance game connectivity headliners being Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles as well as Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures, which both needed 4 link cables and 4 Game Boy Advances to take full advantage of, and 3 other friends to play it with. In addition to that, you have the Game Boy Advance Game Boy Advance e-reader stuff where you need 2 Game Boys, the e-reader, and a link cable. Nintendo really yeah, so there was one for the DS, custom robo for the DS, and that's the N2. So is Metabots older than Custom Robo? Because I've seen Metabots, and it kind of reminded me of Custom Robo. I never really put much thought into it, though. So we've got Virtua Quest. Sega's Resident Fighters bring their fisticuffs to an all-new action RPG for the game. I never heard of this game. I never noticed it. That's very interesting. A Virtua Fighter action RPG. So 97, huh? Yeah, so here it's kind of funny. At the same time, Nintendo GameCube had this reputation of being this kids-only system. The GameCube generation was the last generation where Nintendo had hardware that was... so Metabots was 97, Custom Robo was 99. Wow, that's very interesting. I would not have been aware of that. Where GameCube was competitive or even surpassed the competing systems from Sony and Microsoft. So Nintendo GameCube was getting a lot of these mainstream games, like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell series, for instance, that are more associated with the Xbox and PlayStation in general. Now, sometimes to keep things to one mini DVD, sometimes voice acting or cutscenes would be cut, rather than have a 2-disc set. Game Boy Mario Golf Advance Tour. I think I have access to this game. I either have it on Wii Virtual Console or something or another. Or I don't think I have the cartridge, but... Oh wow, we still have the Epic Center. This is something that went back about a decade at this point. And Epic Center went from trying to introduce and establish the popularity of RPG in a gaming landscape in North America, predating Final Fantasy VII, predating Pokemon, to really covering the RPG genre as a pretty popular category of games. Now, Game Boy Advance Video. Now, this is interesting here because I got the SpongeBob. I should have got the Pokemon ones. I don't know why I got SpongeBob, because I like Pokemon more than SpongeBob, but I got one of these Game Boy Advance video cartridges just to check out what the video quality was like. And you have to remember, this is in a world before many adults still didn't even carry mobile phones, which would have been flip phones if you had a more advanced model, let alone the idea of a modern smartphone, which would be able to display, videos and access to YouTube and the like. So the idea of being able to watch video on the go, the closest thing to this at the time was the Video Now, which had a little postage stamp size screen, had a full 12 centimeter optical disc to play and the screen was black and white on the original model. So I did check this out just to see what the video was. Now, the interesting thing with these, to me, is that with WarioWare Twisted, there's a warning on the box that says, "Warning: This is not compatible with the Game Boy player accessory for Nintendo GameCube." The Game Boy Advance Video says this is not recommended for use with the Game Boy Advance, with the Game Boy player accessory for GameCube. But if you actually put both of those types of cartridges into the GameCube, with the Game Boy Advance, with the Game Boy player, WarioWare Twisted works. It runs. Even though you have to pick up and move the GameCube with all the wires in it, it's totally cumbersome and can damage your system and whatever. But the Game Boy Advance video cartridge, it will say not compatible. It will not run. And I think the reason that is to avoid licensing conflicts, because Majesco probably got the license. It specifically only included the Game Boy Advance. So if their cartridge was able to be run on a home television, they would technically be would have to get the licensing rights potentially for the home video or DVD versions, which is an interesting detail. So we have some interesting that they decided to put Johto era Pokemon episodes on Game Boy Advance Video rather than the the Pokemon Advance era. Oh, here we go. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Gaming's original rivalry reignites as Mario and Donkey Kong face off in NST's addictive puzzle platformer for Game Boy Advance. Now, this was NST, Nintendo Software Technologies. They're under the NOA umbrella in North America. They created all the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, and they also worked on they also assist other groups within the North American side of Nintendo with other projects. Now, there was Nintendo Software Technology, and they also made the 1080 snowboarding games, as I understand it. Nintendo Software Technologies kind of has been in the metaphor. They basically, it's said that they've been given a window seat within Nintendo, not being really allowed to work on major projects since they are alleged to. There was a lot of drama and behind the scenes trouble with the development of a game known to the public as Project Hammer, which was shown only at E3 2006 with the reveal of the Wii. Internally, it was already being known as Machine X, and they paid millions of dollars to have these cutscenes created before they even made the game, and then they blew a bunch of money on FMV cutscenes for Mario vs. Donkey Kong's DS era games, and Miyamoto wasn't happy with them, and they were accused of it is alleged that they were accused by Nintendo in Japan of having wasted Nintendo's money and mismanaged projects to the point where they're basically given a window seat within Nintendo. So this is a bit of a happier age. Now let's check this out. Let me get some water first. It's been a long time since Donkey Kong was a villain. In the years since the original DK game, the lovable gorilla, or relative, has been the protagonist in a number of Nintendo's most popular titles. Now the Big Ape is trying to steal all of the Mini Mario action figures from Mario's new toy company. In the first 6 levels of each world, you must guide Mario to a key and use it to open a door, then rescue a Mini Mario. In the 7th level, you will guide your little buddies to safety in a Mini Mario toy box. 8 levels pit you against your longtime nemesis in an old-school face-off. And actually, this is a game that I remember walking down the street in New York City and overhearing a couple of people who were probably about the age I am now back in 2004, which, yeah, so people about, 20 years, people who were in their mid-20s, let's say, in 2004, and they were talking about Mario vs. Donkey Kong, oh yeah, they're gonna make a new Mario, a real new Donkey Kong game again. So this is something that was seen as a real return to form for the Mario and Donkey Kong legacy. So here we just talk about the different types of stages. So, okay, the team... Oh, that's interesting. So the team on Mario vs. Donkey Kong, 1080 Avalanche, and Ridge Racer 64. I did not realize that Ridge Racer 64 was developed by Nintendo software technology. So, okay, so this looks like a bunch... These are just solutions to the worlds. I don't want to see that. I want to be able to play the game as fresh as possible. So we have some Harry Potter stuff, Shining Force. Oh, and here we go. Go retro with Nintendo. When the 8 classic NES series games win a limited edition Game Boy Advance SP plus a Kong-sized classic. Oh, you actually win a Donkey Kong cabinet, huh? That's pretty interesting. But yeah, this NES-styled Game Boy Advance SP was a big deal when it came out. It really got a lot of people who might have been in their 40s, like people who were over the age of 30, 35 even, back in 2004, picked this up to relive some their NES classic, their childhood games with the NES. Early, and I mean earlier NES, like earlier NES, but a vintage Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. I wonder who run that. Now this is back when Poké Center. Nintendo still had their dedicated Pokemon section within their magazine at this point. So we got. Well, yeah. So we actually have reviews of a lot of these earlier NES games. Now, ironically, for Pac-Man, Nintendo does not acknowledge Pac-Man aside from like the 1991 release, because the earlier release was legitimately released, but it was released by Tengen, who had a major falling out with Nintendo. There were lawsuits involved, actual seizure of games that were illegally bypassed Nintendo's lockout chips. So, yeah, this series, I had Pac-Man and The Legend of Zelda. Those are the only games I got. I considered getting Super Mario Brothers, it never happened. Considered getting Donkey Kong, it never happened. Look at this art of Pauline. I've never seen this art of Pauline before. Since the silent movie era, Pauline has been a popular name for a woman in peril. However, Mario's Pauline was never tied to railroad tracks. Now, Bill Breslin's saying they remember having a Tengen game called Skull and Crossbones, funky shaped cartridge that wasn't licensed, but the game was fun. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk about the NES version of Tetris. There was a Tengen version of Tetris that was released by Tengen that was considered to this day by many to have some more desirable features and play modes than the official NOA and Nintendo release of Tetris. It is considered very, like, the competitive scene, you play the official NES version, but many people, even since the 90s, I hear people saying that the NES version, or the Tengen version of Tetris for NES is the better game. But to this day, Alexei Pajitnov, when he does autograph signing sessions and stuff, he refuses to sign any copies of the Tengen version of Tetris. He takes it as a personal matter of honor. He considers it an illegitimate version of the game. Because not only did Tengen, without authorization, they basically cheated the legal system to get the schematics for Nintendo's lockout chip to release unlicensed games, which they got sued for, and successfully. So not only was it unauthorized from the standpoint that Nintendo, they pretended to be filing a lawsuit against Nintendo in order to force Nintendo to give them legal documents, pretty much. And aside from that, Nintendo, or Tengen they misunderstood the rights that they own to Tetris, because they're like the home computer rights to Tetris. They're the dedicated video game console rights. Then they're the home computer rights, they're the arcade rights, and those vary by country. And then there's these debates over whether or not a home video game console counted as a computer or not. And all of this is dealing with the Soviet Union's authorities that handled the import and export of technology. which was rumored to be covertly under the undersite of the KGB. So, yeah, so not only was, from an Alexei Pechanov's point of view, not only didn't they cheat, that they illegally released the game to bypass Nintendo's lockout chip, but they did not license the game properly from the authorities in the Soviet Union. Not that Alexei Pachinov was personally profiting from it, due to the economic systems of the Soviet Union at that point. But yeah, he will refuse to sign copies of the game even to this day. He says he calls it illegitimate, and he takes it very personally. So if you go to sign him, make sure you have an official version of the game. Don't go up there with Acid Tetris or something stupid like that. Though I don't think Acid Tetris ever actually had a physical release. But yeah, with these games, when you're dealing with Legend of Zelda, this copy of Legend of Zelda here for Game Boy Advance, this is the first time since the late 80s, early 90s, very early 90s, that the Legend of Zelda was available for purchase as a standalone retail release, and this was the last ever cartridge release of these games. Because after this, these games would only really be released digitally or maybe on a disc. This is the last cartridge format release of many of these games. This is the first time Super Mario Brothers, since probably the '92 at the latest, they were maybe still producing copies for the Game Boy, for the original NES. Oh my gosh, Nintendo! Look at this. This is fascinating. This image here, you know what? I think that's where, when we go to Donkey Kong here. Yeah, where's Donkey Kong? Oh yeah, that was way up in. Yeah, this is fascinating. This image here, this is from the Ruby Spears Donkey Kong cartoon, which is no longer acknowledged by Nintendo in any way, shape, or form. So this right here, this image in Nintendo Power 20 years ago might be the last time Nintendo's ever formally acknowledged the existence of the Ruby Spears Donkey Kong cartoon. Okay, here we go. I did go down. So I wonder. But this, I remember, only once have I seen, I don't think this image of Pauline is from that same cartoon, though. And Bill's saying that that's some real We Have Mario at Home energy. Now, the one fascinating thing about these releases is that Ice Climber here, this is the first time that this game was really released or acknowledged. There's video footage of the reveal of Super Smash Bros. Melee. And when the Ice Climbers are revealed, people in the audience are shocked, like, whoa, Ice Climbers? They really dug deep into Nintendo history for that. Going back into the mid-'80s, even though at the time it's only like 15 years ago. Like, Mario vs. Donkey Kong is older now than Ice Climbers was when Ice Climbers were revealed to be in Super Smash Bros. Melee for GameCube. Which is amazing to think of now, but a lot of people a little younger than me who were only familiar with Ice Climbers because of Super Smash Bros. Melee got this game, and like the week after the classic NES, once the classic NES series for Game Boy Advance came out, every GameStop had like 20 copies of Ice Climber, because so many younger people played Ice Climber and thought, oh, it's going to be a platform like Super Mario Bros. Where you play as Nano and Popo. Like, no, it's a single screen arcade game with very stiff controls and jumping. Now, the oldest Bomberman games I played were on the TurboGrafx 16. I never played the NES version of Bomberman, and actually, they are they're much older Bomberman games on Japanese home computers, in which Bomberman actually kind of reused the character sprites from the Famicom version of Lode Runner. And at this point, we have an ad. We've got an ad coming up in a few minutes. I have no control. If I don't run the ads manually, Jeff Bezos will do it for me. So at this point, we might as well jump over to my break screen. I will take a 5-minute break. We'll come back and we'll play some. We'll finish this magazine off. We're at the very tail end of this magazine, and then we'll play some Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Hey, I'm back. Hold on, let me just put my headphones in. Alright, there we go. That's more like it. Alright. So, wow, we have closing in on 1,000, or I have closing in on 1,000 exo. That's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing. Now I have to wait, because it takes like 20 seconds once I... Yeah, so while we wait, well, you can see that I have my Game Boy Advance copy of Mario vs. Donkey Kong loaded into the analog pocket, and I am just awkwardly waiting to go back to the magazine. We'll finish talking about the NES Classic series for the Game Boy Advance, as I was talking about how the copies of some of these games, especially Ice Climber, which was bought by a lot of younger players who were only encountered Ice Climber through Smash Bros. Melee. Now, Smash Bros. Melee was... I knew a lot of NES games. I was very interested in Nintendo history. I had family members. I played NES at their house. But I never... Even going out buying NES games in like late 90s, early 2000s, I never heard of Ice Climber until I saw him in Smash Bros. Because Ice Climber's from that earlier era of the NES, where it was kind of a bit more of an arcade-like system, a bit more of a sophisticated version of what you'd get on Atari 2600. Those earlier games like Clue Clue Land, NES Pinball, the ports of Donkey Kong and the like. But before it became more ambitious with the games like Super Mario Bros. Though in America, we got Super Mario Bros. Alongside a lot of those earlier Famicom games, so very mixed kind of thing. But Bomberman, yeah, I played it on TurboGrafx 16. I played Bomberman 94. And my family rented TurboGrafx back in the early 90s. And in fact, that was the only game system, home console, that hooked up to a TV that we had in our house up until '96 when we got N64. But then we got Pac-Man. Now, Pac-Man was on NES much earlier than 1993. Which would have been, yeah, Nintendo places the release of Pac-Man on NES in the very tail end of the NES's lifespan, which is an absolute joke. It came out many years before that, but okay, here we have the actual review of Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Let's check this out. The Man vs. Monkey Clash. Oh, and by the way, just putting this out there, I have put up a new XLO token redemption that viewers can use their channel points to activate. This one's a one-off. It's nothing really special. Perhaps it's a little self-serving, but it's just something else you can choose to use your XLO tokens on if you so found it. But the Man vs. Monkey Clash, the defined platform gaming in the original Donkey Kong, heats up again in an immensely entertaining platform puzzler that's loaded with elements from Mario's greatest hits. When DK runs off, okay, Bill Preston redeemed H buys a Type 1 XLO Sentinel. Let me just go open up the mining program. Here it is. So we're at 856. 50. It's going okay. I can't. I'm not supposed to show you how the software works, but I just have to click the buy stupid crap menu. And okay. Okay, that's pretty instant results. I mean, it's not like skyrocketing like the first time we bought one the night we started mining. I think that was like a Type 3 Ectolo Sentinel, which costs 1,500 Ectolo tokens for me, and I have barely like 1,000, so it's going to be a while before I can afford one of those. But thank you for spending your Exolo tokens on getting me to spend Exolo tokens so I could mine more Exolo tokens. The money of tomorrow, or whatever it is that he keeps calling it. But anyway, when DK runs off with a sack full of mechanical mini Marios from the Mario Toy Company, the full-size hero gives chase by climbing, bouncing, and hammering through a series of trap-packed challenges. The veteran adventurer shows some never-before-seen maneuvers, such as a high-arcing backflip and hand-balancing act that protects him from falling objects. That was in Donkey Kong for Game Boy. Mini Marios are trapped in each of the game's 6 worlds. After Mario collects all the mechanical marvels from a world, he leads them on a timed run to a toy chest by activating switches and negotiating obstacles. Then he takes on the ape in face-to-face finale. Mario earns a 1-up for every Mini Mario he wrangles into its place. The puzzles are suitably easy to solve in the early going, but the difficulty increases sharply in the late rounds. By earning high scores in each level, you can unlock more levels in super challenging expert mode. Now, from what I heard, now spoilers, in the Nintendo Switch remake, they removed the scoring functionality. And I have played the demo of the Switch version just to do some audio balancing, so that when we play the real game this Friday, I believe it comes out this Friday. So when we play the real game, I don't have to adjust the volume. That's the only reason I downloaded the demo, but I did not notice the scoring functionality has been removed, which I think for an arcade-style game is a serious, that's not something you do. But very good scores, mild cartoon violence in the rating. Okay. So here we've got reviews. Now this is interesting. Let's see what they say for these games. The reviews they give for these NES games is going to be interesting. Come on. Although the Bomberman franchise has recently branched out into multiplayer tournaments and adventure games, it began in 1985 and was released in 1989 for the NES. Now, I believe in Japan, there were versions of Bomberman that even older than this one. I think it goes back to 84 or even 83 on home computers. But anyway, while negotiating a brick grid maze, it's your task to plant and detonate bombs to defeat enemies and break through bricks. The game is very simple, but provides a lot of challenge and explosive fun. A 2, a 3.5, a 3, a 3, and a 3. So, Donkey Kong, you see the scores I got here. Recently adapted as a micro game, and the WarioWare titles. Excite Bike became the first motorcycle racing game for the NES in 1985. 4 motorcycles scream across ramps. Look at the scores look at comparing Legend of Zelda to Ice Climber. Developed in the early days of platformers, Ice Climber tempts you to scale 32 multi-level mountains. A slight lag in the controls makes many of the difficult jumps frustrating, but the result is much sweeter when you reach the... Yeah, they really had to try to sell why this game wasn't just flat-out obsolete. One of the first video game phenomenon, Pac-Man arrived in the arcades in 1980 and was released on the NES in 1993. No, it was released much earlier. Stuff like this. Like, this is literally Nintendo's corporate interests rewriting the history of the platform. Because the thing is, as I understand it, the Tengen version of Pac-Man was legitimately licensed as far as I understood. So it's interesting. Yeah, this is why, let's say if Nintendo tried to use copyright claims to censor Wikipedia and other sources that said that there was an earlier version of Pac-Man. It's like, no, Nintendo, we disavow knowledge of that for legal reasons. That's why we cannot let companies have too much control over IP stuff. That's not to say that everything should be a 100% free-for-all, but that's why there needs to be limits on these things, because this genuinely rewrites the history of this very important piece of video game history. So we got Xevious, a pile of GameCubes, back before... Wow, that's interesting. The Nintendo Power Line 1425 885 7529. Now, this is, I think, on the very and they have the game counselor. This has to be at the very tail end of Nintendo having game counselors that you could call a hotline and talk to an actual person to help you through a game. That's very interesting. Because I know just... Yeah, so Spider-Man 2, the game, there's imagery of spiderwebs between these different skyscrapers. In the original teaser trailer for Spider-Man, Spider-Man spins a web between the twin towers of the World Trade Center and uses them to catch a helicopter that flies between them. And that sort of made this really odd link between Spider-Man and American patriotism. And like, Spider-Man was the first big like Hollywood blockbuster action movie to be released after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. So there are lots of like, there's this tradition in the first three Spider-Man movies of Spider-Man doing some kind of pose in front of an American flag that's waving epically in the wind, and that's kind of actually came due to that. And so it's really weird out of, more than 20 years later, sort of having lost that context. But it is time for Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Now, wait a second. I know I've definitely put the aspect ratio correct for this title, but I need to adjust the volume. The volume for Mario vs. Donkey Kong needs to be at negative 18.2. So, negative 18.2. I wish I didn't have to use a slider. Come on. It's so slow and updating. Hold on. Negative 18.2. Come on. 17. 18. Come on. Come on. Being slow. Oh my gosh. I've never had the volume take this long to... There's an negative 20. Need to be at negative 20. Can I dial it in specifically, please? No, I can't. Okay, here we go. Finally, it's moving like it always did. I never had that happen with the volume before. So now let's get started. Okay. Nintendo Software Corporation. That I only put up a redeem to buy that one because that's the only one I could afford. Yeah, so Donkey Kong gets swept in by FOMO and consumerism. Yeah, Mini Mario sold out. Wow, this is actually kind of very similar to what happened with the Amiibo craze, interestingly enough. Oh, that's where it stops there. Actually, I can make... I'm actually already up to 1,200. I will put in... I can make a... I can make a new one. Hold on. Actually, I'm gonna copy. Hold on. Where is? Okay, I have to go here. One five, yeah. And we will set that to yeah, so I created a new redeem, but I'm not going to activate it as being able to be redeemed because the next type of XLO Sentinel I could buy is 1,500 tokens for me, and I only have 1,200, so I gotta wait till I can mine some more, I guess. Alright, so let's get started. This is my own, just give you a sense of how this looks on the device. Here it is here. And there's the cartridge. Alright, so let's get started. So this file A here. This is my own file from back in the day, and I don't know what these other two files are. In fact, this is... let's erase... Actually, let's go with blue, because blue is my color, I guess you could say, so... I need a second. Yep. So we'll start a new file here. Now, listen to the toad. And it sounds like the toad says, "They're $40! I hope you like hearing toad voices. Now, this is in an age before Donkey Kong before the mini Marios hijacked this. Listen to Martinet's voice act here. Yeah, he's very expressive with a lot of his voice acting in this game in ways he's not in most of other games. Now, one thing I would say here is that this is one of the few old, like, pre-3D era, like, these still, like, 32, 64-bit sort of sprite-based games, because this game kind of uses a CG art style akin to the Donkey Kong Country games. It looks great on a Game Boy Advance screen or on the Analog Pocket screen. Blown up like this on a monitor, it does not scale up that well compared to if it was just used traditional sprites like the Mario Advance games did. So let's get started. Now, I had not played Donkey Kong 94 at the time, though I did know of its legacy. This is one of the few games I could say with great specificity. I have to pause because there is a time limit. I can say with great specificity, I played this game at a demo kiosk at a GameStop, and that demo experience actually is what sold me on this game. Alright. I mean, this is an absolute sensory overload compared to the Game Boy version, but the Game Boy version sprites, I'd say, aged a lot better. A full color version of that game would be great. Of Mario Duncan. So once again we have this bring the key to the door. Yeah, bring the key to the door gameplay. And look at the mini Mario up there, like not shaking his head like, "Oh no, I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Oh no." So yeah, 200 seconds is definitely overkill for this stage. Yeah, what they managed to do with these sprites, and this is one of those video games I would say. Now, did you notice that each stage, and like in the Donkey Kong for Game Boy, each stage was a single sequence of you bring the key to the door, that's the end of the stage. Here, each level is a two-phase thing. First, you bring the key to the door, then the second part is just reaching the mini Mario. The second phase is just strictly point A to B. And I got all 3 presents, so I get to play a mini game. Yeah, purple 1-ups being 2-ups. I don't think that's something that consistently carried over into other Mario games. Now, this is one of those This is a game that when I was playing it at the time, because at the time I was playing this on my black Game Boy Advance SP, this was one of those games that I really did, feel like this is one of those games that really plays to the strengths of Game Boy Advance is form factor, its pick up and play nature. Though I don't think this game, I think this game did have a sleep mode. Did it have? No, this game did not have a sleep mode, but you could turn it on and very quickly get into the gameplay, which is just the next best thing to a sleep mode. Now this music here, I like this music. It's very sort of industrial feeling kind of music here. Now this level is sort of the analog to the city stages in Donkey Kong 94. Unfortunately, there's no proper city, because I do love that sort of urban city setting. Kind of reminds me of being home back home in Queens and Rockaway when I was in my younger days. Now, oh my goodness! So we have a timer on the key. That's how long the key will last before it goes back to its spawn point. Oh my goodness! Oh, I got toasted. And I'm glad that was earnest. I'm glad I didn't deliberately, take an L in order to show off. Now, we have help boxes here, but that was not in Donkey Kong, making this all much more, Now, if we... Let's get back down here and grab the hammer, destroy the oil can. There we go. Now that's out the way. We can hit that switch without problems. But first, we definitely will want to collect that present. These are the replacements for Pauline's dropped personal effects in Donkey Kong 94. Now, I'm not offended by, Donkey Kong, save the girl thing, but I will say that in situations where a female character is tantamount to an inanimate object that isn't an actual character, you might as well actually do so, or develop a female character's a character that's an actual character, rather than just a thing to be collected as a prize. And that's exactly what they did here. I don't think they were trying to be progressive or politically correct or anything, but by coincidence they decided, hey, let's replace Pauline, who, at this point, Pauline has kind of been erased from the Mario canon. It was actually the later DS-era Mario vs. Donkey Kong games that reintroduced Pauline and introduced her modern design as we see her in, for instance, in Super Mario Odyssey. Okay. Alright. Okay. Oh, they give us another hammer right here. And I do love the detail. Look at how detailed the animation is on Mario's hammer slamming mania. Handstand. Now, this is a video game that I enjoyed at the time. It was a showcase of what the Game Boy Advance could do. One thing that's very interesting. This game, a standard Game Boy Advance game, was $30 back in 2004, and that a lesser Game Boy Advance game, a budget Game Boy Advance game, such as the NES Classic Series, were only $20. The something such as Mario, Dr. Mario and Puzzle League was only $20. So the budget games were $20, the standard games were $30. This is a $30 game, and Clacker Boy's updating us. They just left the temple for the New Year's celebration. Azure saying the desired object should always be food. No, that's a very universal. When you have the desired object be something that's obviously a food item, that's something that's very cross-cultural, even if it's not something that necessarily another culture might eat. The motivation to collect food is something that's doesn't really need explanation. So that's an interesting. So if you look at something like Pac-Man, it's a very abstract game, but when you see that, okay, this character is eating, and there are monsters that are trying to eat him. It's a very understandable kind of thing. Where like if you showed something like baseball, or I'm trying to think of, or that's something. If you showed a caveman boxing, the earliest, modern humans, the earliest of all of humanity, they could understand boxing. There's a sport I saw that's sort of professional tag, where they build an obstacle course and two players are trying to catch each other. That's something, the idea of catching and running. Yeah, and it crosses, like gender and sexual preferences and boundaries as well. Something very unique, which is why a lot of those earlier games like Rally X or Pac-Man, even before Miss Pac-Man, was very popular, across gender barriers. But one thing I found about Mario vs. Donkey Kong, I found it to be a game that very much... Donkey Kong, I would say that, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this game right here, is a game that I really felt was one of those very video game kind of games. That's one of those games that is sort of like something very quintessential that in popular consciousness would be very recognizable as like, oh yeah, that's like what a video game is. Even as, things got more sophisticated with, your more advanced role-playing games, your first-person shooters and strategy games. But, if you look at the action, the method of action, the nature of the gameplay, this is something that's very sort of quintessential video game play and something that's very accessible and understandable. Because it's funny, this is a game, there was not another game like the one I'm playing right here ever again. We're finally getting a remake of it on the Switch, but they never made another game like what we're seeing right here. There are other games in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series, but they were more strict puzzle games where you weren't directly controlling the characters, you weren't playing as Mario. This is this is the only game in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series where you directly control Mario in the way you're seeing here. And this is something that plays very directly to the origin of Mario in the original Donkey Kong games. And this is something that is such a quintessential expression of Mario's history, yet this is the only game where we see this. And they never went back to this expression of Mario gameplay. Because I really think this is as quintessential Mario as Super Mario Brothers, but Nintendo never went to this format again, which is a real shame. Because I was very excited for what Mario vs. Donkey Kong could be like on the DS with, I'm imagining a level like this, but 2 panels high, and being able to make custom levels using the touchscreen to drag and drop things. But when they put Mario vs. Donkey Kong on DS, they decided to make it be all about guiding the mini Marios through Lemmings-like levels. And it was very, very frustrating that, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, March of the Minis, okay. And the next one, this is going to be proper. And Azurus is saying this is hype. So I understand, Azurus, that maybe the Game Boy Donkey Kong game with its black and white graphics might have been a little more, not quite as easy on the eyes. And Clackaboy has redeemed a Sodor Lore Reading Deluxe. And so let me bring up the Sodor Lore Reading for the next 3 minutes. We will be, hold on. Actually, we'll just remove the game from the dock for the moment, actually. Alright. So we're gonna read for 3 minutes about... starting now. Okay, 3 minutes. So if you missed the earlier Sodor Lore reading, we read a bit about how we'll start about from where we left. Till well into the 19th century is a rough place, from the haunt of smugglers who alternated as fishermen and who had developed their special kippering process, the secret of which is still jealously preserved today. A.W. Dry & Company faced considerable opposition when wishing to use the harbor as base for operations in the Knapford area. Boat building, however, was among their various activities, and they had produced a new design of fishing boat which fortunately found favor with the Tidmouth men. This, together with judicious sweeteners, eventually opened the door to an amicable agreement. Suppliers and equipment for the drainage project could then be brought in by sea and conveyed along a coastal road built for the purpose round the headland. By 1905, the mining company had become dissatisfied with Knapford as a port and adopted A.W. Dry's suggestion of extending their tramway along this coastal road to Tidmouth. And Topham Hatt, a young engineer from Swindon, who had lately joined A.W. Dry's staff, built some light steam locomotives for them. All went well and trade boomed until an autumn gale in 1908 destroyed the road and the tramway with it. Trade was disrupted and numbers of miners were thrown out of work. The situation was desperate. A.W. Dry had a large interest in the mines and had not yet been paid in full for the drainage work done. With help of a treasury loan, they put unemployed miners to work under Topham Hatt's direction, cutting a railway tunnel through the south ridge of Tidmouth and laying a railway directly from Tidmouth to Knapford. The Tidmouth, Knapford and Elsbridge Light Railway was formed in 1910. Amalgamation with the Wellsworth and Sudbury followed in 1912 and brought fresh trade to Tidmouth, but it was only when the double-track Northwestern Railway was completed in 1916, connecting Tidmouth at last with the outside world, that its potential as a harbor was realized and its development could really begin. The town's growth as a port of industrial center has been phenomenal, and it rapidly became the island's commercial capital. However, it still retains many of the marks of its uncouth origins and is not attractive to tourists. Nevertheless, these ramblers, who are bold and dedicated enough to scramble up the steep path beside the Falls of Tid, will be rewarded in the valley beyond, which is a place of awesome splendor. Mention of the falls is a further reminder that Messrs. A.W. Dry's enterprise, by harnessing the Falls of Tidmouth became the first town in Sodor to be lit by electricity. This was in 1906. The passenger railway station has an all-over glass roof spanning 4 terminals and 1 through road, though through roads leads to the Augsburg branch line, which is known as the Little Western or Ducks branch line. We'll finish this off. This is where the passenger sets, turntable, etc. So this is where the main engine shed is. This is Gordon and James have trouble on the turntable here. Percy is the station pilot here. Percy collides with the luggage trolley here. This is where Duck takes charge. This is where the city of Truro comes to Tidmouth. Flying Scotsman comes here. This is where Diesel fails and Stepney and Duck take over for him. Tidmouth is the junction for the Augsburg branch. So, very important place in the island of Sodor. So thank you for redeeming your premium tokens on the Sodor Lore Reading Deluxe Redeem, Kalakaboy. Now, let's see here. No, and just to mention, there is a new redeem that I just enabled, for those interested. New redeem that I just enabled. But for now, we will get back to the game. Yeah, it's a very busy station. Oh, and Azurest. Wow, I just enabled it, and that quickly it went up. Azurest has spent 2,000 of their XLO tokens. And by doing that, I can now spend 1,500 of my XLO tokens on a Type 2 XLO Sentinel. I have 1,966. And yeah, we're getting tokens. It's going up every once in a while. 74, 78, I'm going to go into the Buy Stupid Crap menu on my XLO mining program, which I'm not supposed to show you, according to the advanced controller. But I'm going to spend 1,500 of my XLO tokens on this Type 2 mining Sentinel. And we just as we get our 2,000, so we'll send 500. We have only 500 left. But we're definitely getting them more frequently now. It's going up a lot quicker. So I guess within a matter of time, we'll get our 1,500 back. Or my 1,500. This doesn't benefit you. This is only for my XLO token total. But let's go into stage 4. Alright, and you have the little tutorials. Yeah, I played through the first couple of stages. I have not played through these stages since 2004, so. Yeah, when you duck. Yeah, I don't know. I really would love to have seen how the city sort of setting would have looked in Game Boy Advance. Instead, we have the Mario Toy Company setting as sort of its analog. Alright, so we've got to... There are no presents in this stage at all. But we can throw the key and duck, follow the key, pick it up, and... Now, I love how the animation of Mario going in the door. Yeah, I love the fanfare, Mario, let's go! It makes you feel really accomplished as you, Yeah, we will definitely need these extra lives in later stages. And, we'll grab the, very Lego sort of color scheme. And I wonder if that's what they were specifically going for, because this is supposed to be the grounds of a toy factory. So, but I do like this sort of style of music. That the sort of it's one thing I found interesting. Now, mind you, this game came out in 2004, which is 20 years ago, which means there are people who are grown legal adults, only a year away from being able to purchase and drink alcohol in the United States, who were not born or were just born when this game came out, which is amazing to think of. So, there are a lot of people who are adults today who were not really around in an age in which a game like this was sold at retail as a full-priced game. So there are a lot of people who are like, even saying the Switch version of this will be $50, the Switch remake. And there are people saying even $30 is too much to ask for a game like this, even with modern graphics. Now, the funny thing is, they say $30 is too much to spend on the remake on the Switch. Meanwhile, this game was $30 on Game Boy Advance, and adjusted for currency inflation rates, $30 in 2004 comes out to basically exactly $50 today in today's currency, which is how much they're charging for Nintendo Switch. So adjusted for inflation, the Game Boy Advance version of this game in 2004 will have the same amount of buying power in US dollars that the Nintendo Switch version will have, but the gaming landscape has shifted so much that even releasing this as a retail game is something really only Nintendo would do, since they could sell it with their sort of Nintendo tax. Their name has a premium price on it. And so it's going to be... I'm not saying that this game should be $50, perhaps. I think really, in today's buying power, in today's market, the real dream deal for this game at retail, I think, would be $30. Coincidentally, matching its original retail price in terms of just the dollar amount, not accounting for currency inflation rates. So it's going to be the re-release of this game will be a very interesting exercise and how the market will judge the value of a specific game experience, because this game is going to cost the same buying power. So $30 today will buy $30 in 2004 buys $50 of goods in today's buying power. So it's going to be interesting to see if the same amount of buying power 20 years later will be judged as being worth effectively a fungible experience in the form of this particular game. Maybe this game will flop. It'll be a shame if it flops because there'll be no chance of getting more puzzle platformer Donkey Kong games in the future if this does flop. But if this does flop, it'll be good in the sense that it'll send a clear message to Nintendo. If you're going to release a game that offers this value equation, you're going to have to make it more affordable for people. Oh my gosh, I let the Shy Guy get me. The first death to an enemy in this game. So we could throw this trash can up here. Or, yeah, I did not mean to knock out the wind-up Shy Guy toy. Yeah, that's another thing I just noticed. Yeah, the enemies are not... Yeah, the Shy Guys are not actual Shy Guys. They are Shy Guy toys. Oh my gosh, I came very close to getting taken out by there. And so getting a higher score does give you an impetus to take out as many of these enemies as possible. I'm gonna wait till he comes over here. Toss him into the pit of despair. Oh. Okay. Oh, can I not? Okay, I can't jump there. I just didn't make the jump. It's interesting that Mario feels the need to break open the crystal ball that is the. You know, before the mini Mario toys became the thing that ruined this series by making it about guiding toy Mario characters to a goal instead of rescuing the mini Marios. I actually wanted action figures to, like, if they release a mini Mario, oh my gosh, will there be a mini Mario amiibo? Hold on. Please be a mini Mario amiibo. Mini Mario amiibo. Mini Mario toy, because there was never an actual Mini Mario toy. Was there ever an actual Mini Mario toy? Alright. Whatever, I'll look into this later. I'm being a nerd. Okay. We'll play this for... We'll play this... we'll play through the first world of this and call it a stream. Because I don't want to play through too much of this game, because I do want to, Now, I love this character here. We'll see him when we get further to the left. I mean, to the right, rather, actually. So that clears... Okay, so I could go here. So... Headstand... Oh, wait, so... So if we... Yeah, you need very specific timing. We could do this... Yeah, that's a new move. This you could do, and the higher jump, but... Yeah, the jump... The Mario's very athletic in this game. Yeah, so look at this critter here. You have some kind of creature hiding in this pile of bricks. That's just shaking the bricks and making them rattle down. Now, we can't actually touch him. He can't actually get to us, but he does drop the bricks on us. That makes him, pretty dangerous. I'll be able to, and just to be, clear, all references to me being able... Remember, glasses off means we break the fourth wall here as far as the lore goes, right? All references to me being unable to afford Mario vs. Donkey Kong for Nintendo Switch are just for plot reasons, so don't worry about it. That's why I said... So, yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can find the key. So where's... Okay, so down here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So to get past these bricks... I mean, you're in an industrial setting, Mario. You worked on a construction site. You worked as a carpenter. You should know to wear your PPE when you're on site. He needs a steel... He has a steel cap boots, but he does not have a proper head protection. So we're gonna walk on it. We're gonna do a headstand, and we get 50. I forgot you get 50 points each time he knocks the bricks out. So oh my goodness, we're running out of time. Oh my goodness, gravy. Okay. All right. We made it. We made it. So we go hands first. There we go. I love this track in particular. Is so cool. Yeah, this is the track that whatever official trailer existed. Mind you, any trailers that existed, we had to download them, and a lot of people at this point were still on 56K. Even in 2004, it wasn't uncommon to still see. Got him. Got him. We got the. Okay. Let's grab the Mini Mario and finish the stage. Yeah, we'll be doing a stream. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna replay through these first few worlds, this first world of Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and then we'll play, the Switch version, and we'll be able to compare them directly to one another. It'll be fun. I wasn't paying attention, so, yeah, we got the 3 up anyway. Okay, so now we have the Mini Mar... I forgot that yeah, I forgot about these. Alright. Alright, so here, this stage right here, so the Toads, who are the workers in the Mario Toy Factory, come out, they bring out the toy box, the letters toy fall out. So here are all the Mini Marios that we saved throughout the stage. So here we've got to guide them through this obstacle course, and the idea of guiding these toy Marios that you don't control directly, this inspired every single sequel to this game, and you don't even control Mario in those games. So, collected the O. Got all 3, and into the toy box. You gotta jump on the toy box and press B to pick it up. Yeah, it's possible to lose these Mini Marios and not actually save them, but here they make it, they kind of just are introducing you to the concepts. They make it impossible to actually lose any of these guys. Now, here, I believe the logic is every Mini Mario that you save becomes an extra hit you can take during this boss fight. Oh. Yeah, so when he hits the switches, if we're inside the Mario Toy Factory, it's kind of interesting that he has a switch that would drop all this heavy debris in this manner. I wonder if he acts dynamically in any way, or if that's just, oh. I don't, it seems like they might be, either they have on archive the old voice clips in high resolution, or they just have, I know because Charles Martinet years ago said that they have enough, like, they have a bank of unused audio files for Charles Martinet that's so massive that they can continue using his voice samples for games, like, as far as just, basic woohoo, yaha, like that kind of stuff. They can have, like, hours and hours and hours of unique voice samples they could use.
Way to go.
Alright. Alright.
Hey, come back here.
Alright, so we're off to World 2. And we're not going to end the stream quite yet. I have something I want to do first. Let's have a little fun with some Donkey Kong Jungle. Is it? Okay, that's interesting. But yeah, let's play a little Revenge of the Gator. Yeah, that's the nice thing. When I'm playing all these handheld games, the nice thing is that I can very easily swap these out for one another. All I have to do is take out Mario vs. Donkey Kong and put in Revenge of the Gator. We're good to go. We'll play one or two, no more than 2 rounds of this. And this may be slightly louder than before. If it's louder to the point where it's annoying, let me know. That's... I will just rename the stream Gator Pinball, because I'm already streaming into retro. Is the audio glitching from my microphone or from the game? Is the audio glitching from my microphone or from the game? Okay, it's my microphone. Hold on. Alright. Should be better now, right? I don't know what... That's funny that that happened when I changed the game, but it should be fine now. Right? I know I'm definitely picking up in my audio processing software. Alright, we're good now? Much better or good? Because I don't want it to be kinda better. I want it to actually just be normal. And I know they're... Okay, this is clean? Alright. Alright, so we'll add a couple of scores to my Revenge of the Gator spreadsheet, which I keep saying I'm going to, need to make an actual, need to make it my actual, do my actual data ticker for it, this game, sooner or later. Oh yeah, this... Oh, I already lost a ball. That's why I let myself play 2 rounds, because I do need my warm-up round to get into the flow of this, though I did take my hand off, foolishly take my hand off the controller for a second. Alright. Alright, keep it going, keep it going. You know, I originally my plan was to have a stream that was half this and half Kirby's Pinball Land. Sort of short. I will do that eventually. I will. And and did the advanced controller call today? They called 3 separate times. They kept begging me for money. Like, I had just mined my 1 million. Oh wow, that's right. Oh wow, I already have 4,000. Yeah, that Type 2 XLO Sentinel definitely paid off. And that's very interesting. Yeah, it definitely paid off. But yeah, he kept asking me to give him 1 million XLO tokens, or God was going to hire a private military company to kill him in Ganglin style. And I said, and I was like, eventually, he kept calling, begging me to give him 1 million XLO tokens, and I was like, why don't you just ask instead of making up an insane lie to try to manipulate me? Okay. Yeah, I tried to do a look ma, no hands. I never did that to my mom. I mean, I don't think I could do one hand. I don't think I ever actually was able to ride my BMX bike with no hands. Actually, I could briefly, but it's not... The scariest thing I think I ever did to my mom was something that was actually harmless because I had done it a bunch of times before. I knew it wouldn't be a problem. Alright. But, I jumped. I climbed a tree, and I cannot, in my backyard, and I cannot climb that high. It wasn't a tall tree, and I couldn't climb that high. But I used to jump with a plastic bag, like a plastic shopping bag from the supermarket, and use it like a parachute. And I know it didn't slow my fall seriously, but it was fun feeling the resistance and that feeling that it did actually, like, I could feel the resistance of the bag as I fell. And eventually my mom actually saw me doing it and was like, no, stop it, what are you doing? Like, you're gonna hurt yourself. And my mom, like, totally panicked, and the alligator ate my... Let's see what... Alright. 59360. I'm not gonna count that because I gotta admit, I kind of threw that game because I know I'm gonna get an ad break in a moment, and there's no point in doing, going away for the ad break only to then go right back to just for 20 minutes of, hey, you know what? I know what's going on. I know what's good. How about we raid Pete Door, who is doing one of their famous eBay streams, and they don't buy mini games for themselves in these streams. But what they do is, I'll be by the way, I'll be back on Friday when the new Mario vs. Donkey Kong game comes out. I'll be playing the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo Switch versions of it, and I'm gonna send you over to Pete, who is. It's not just watching him shop. He's not shopping. He talks about the history of the games, talks about how the prices have fluctuated. It's very interesting. So I will see you all next time, and thank you very much for watching. Everyone, hang on. Everyone who stays for the raid will get a nice little cache of XLO tokens for doing so. So I will see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching.